Hi, it's Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go get that claimed, smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's your Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. And welcome to the second quarter of 2023. Today, in this episode, what I want to talk to you about are some very powerful distinctions that I learned actually on my cruise this past week to end Q1 and rest and recharge for Q2. So many of you don't know me or know a couple things about me. So one of the things I'll share with you is that I am a very, very driven personality type. I always tend to look at things as why are they not happening fast enough? Why is it taking so long? And, I was on a boat. And I, for me personally, I find being at sea very calming. I'm not into the party boats or anything like that. My wife, Marissa, and I, we tend to kind of stay, kind of in our cabin on the balcony doing our thing. And I don't know, I just find being at sea very calming. So this past week, we were cruising Caribbean, and I think we were in Tortola, BVI. It was a beautiful morning, beautiful scenery. And I was thinking about just, sometimes you just have those moments where you're just thinking about life, the bigger picture. And I've been doing this now for almost 30 years. And I asked myself a very important question. Why am I pushing so hard to get everything done now? It's a very important question. Why am I pushing so hard to get everything done now? And I didn't get an answer like, well, here's why, or you need the money, or, you got to meet your goals. Because, after 30 years, I'm in a very good space in terms of what I do here. My own personal financial situation, I operate in a state of abundance and prosperity. And so I said, okay, then, so if I don't need it, but I want it, difference, why am I so stressed about it? And what I realized was, context here. I've declared to my clients, and I'll be 59 this year, this upcoming December, and that will put me into my 30th year being a coach. And I told my clients, and for those of you who are my clients who are watching this or listening to this, you know that I am on record saying that I'm going to coach to be 100 years old. That I will be, I forget what it is, December 15th, 2064. I will be, quote unquote, in the saddle doing my jam at some level. Then why am I so stressed about getting it done now? if I've got literally 40 plus years, right? If you think about it, how many quarters, 160 quarters or something like that, some crazy number. And I think what it boils down to is we're so busy trying to accomplish things that we don't stop and ask ourselves, how do we enjoy accomplishing these things? See, having fun is not a bad thing. Having fun does not mean you're goofing off or you're not serious or anything like that. There's, we all know the old saying, it's a journey, not a destination, right? It's a very cliche-ish and, oh, that sounds good. But in our game, what does that really mean? I believe it to mean that you should be looking at everything you're doing and asking yourself, are you enjoying the process of doing it? Now, there are some times you have to, as Brian Tracy would say, eat the frog, right? In fact, every day inside Magellan Network, we always talk about eating a frog, getting something done that's uncomfortable. But it doesn't mean that you should live your entire life by that. I've been talking to several clients this past week since I got back. And I said, I came up with this concept, which is what really stresses us out is when we measure and view things in a very small window of time in a very myopic manner. So what do I mean by that? Let's just look at Q1. So you came out of Q1, one of three scenarios, right? Either you're crushing your goals, you're kind of okay with your goals, or you're like, I got nothing going on. But it's one quarter. There's 40 quarters in a decade. Think about that. So if I were to take a crappy quarter, just think about if I got on a whiteboard and visualize this. And I took, let's say, Q1 2023 to Q1 2033, right? I'd have 40 quarters. So you had a crappy one. Is that 10%? What's that, 2.5% of the quarters that you're going to have to deal with? And that's the point I'm driving at. Like, there are going to be some quarters you crush it, and there'll be some quarters that it crushes you a little bit, Talking to one of my clients, one of my long-term clients, father-in-law passes away. Then he gets COVID. Signature Bank. Like, okay, we're Q1, it is what it is. It's one quarter out of 40. Let's focus on the other 39, right? But if you don't frame it right, if you don't have the right perspective, you'll look at things myopically and like, my God, I think the world's coming to an end. And I'll give you example upon example. March 2020. How many people, may have not been you, but people around you, literally felt like the world was going to come to an end, right? October 2008, right? How many of you felt like, are we going to be in business come Monday, right? That passed. If you look at it very tactically, in the moment, it's going to always feel overwhelming. And what happens is it's like a dichotomy. So if you're crushing it, oh my God, I'm crushing it, therefore I'll always crush it, right? Because I crush it one quarter, I'll crush all the quarters. No, you won't. Or this quarter sucked, therefore all my quarters suck. No, it doesn't have to be that way. Perspective and the power of framing is one of the most powerful tools all of us have, but yet rarely deploy. Why? Because it takes conscious effort, energy, and focus. And at least for me, it takes me absolutely being out of my day-to-day environment. It's not good enough to go take a ride to the beach here in Florida and go watch a sunrise. Like, I need to be away from my day-to-day environment for a chunk of time. I'm finding, at least for me, getting on a boat is definitely my happy place. It checks all the boxes I need to check, and that's where I get perspective. Remember, there are two things vacations or renewal time or downtime will give you, right? Hi, Coach Joe Lucas here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. It can give you epiphanies, and I've had plenty of those in my career, and I'm so grateful for those. But it also can give you perspective and really take inventory of what's going on. So, for example, if you're like really stressed right now, it's like you're watching or listening to me, and you ended your Q1, and it's like, oh man, you just Signature Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, all the stuff going on, whatever. But it's only one quarter. And the reality is, I talk about here in my tribe, again, a lot of you who watch this are actually network members. We always want to be in growth mode. Now, but does that mean we have to be in 20-25% growth mode year after year after year? That's very hard to sustain. But what would happen if you look at growth mode and say, you know what? And I challenge every one of you to do this, by the way. And if you want to post below or reach out or put it on YouTube or on LinkedIn, I don't care. You'll find me, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this. If you were to take your revenue from last year and just compound it by 10% over the next 10 years, would you be excited, happy, fulfilled, satisfied with the outcome after a decade? And do the math. You're all in the finance business. You're all the financial advisors. So get out your or maybe not even calculator anymore, right? Go online, find one of those online calculators. Put your gross rev in at 10%, then add another 10 to that, and go over the next decade. 95% of you are going to be very excited and very shocked and very pleasantly surprised with the number. Now, does that mean that you're going to grow at 10% a year every year? No. It's funny how we'll talk to our clients about stock markets, some up years, some down years, but it doesn't matter as long as you're a long-term investor. This is what it averages over a period of time. But why don't we take that same approach to our business? Is it okay to grow at 5% one year and 20% the next year and maybe 15% one year and 10% one year? And yes, it is okay to do that. Why? Because if you're not enjoying the process of that, it's not going to be worth it to you. It just won't be. And that's why it's really, really important to, when you're looking at numbers and playing, that's why, for many of you, some of you this past year, hey, why are we doing 10-year strategic plans? Like, why can't we do just like a 1-year plan, maybe like a 5-year plan? Why do we go a decade? Perspective. Because every year is not going to be 20-30% growth. But again, I challenge you to do the 10% compound model and let me know. The other thing I learned on my boat, my little cruise, was there are 3 things that I will now filter into any request that I do. So when somebody comes to me, hey, would you be willing to do this? Or would you joint ventures, speaking gigs, projects, right? 3 things: easy, lucrative, fun, ELF. Now, when I say easy, it doesn't mean, oh man, just like we'll take no energy, no effort. No. What I mean is that there'll be, there won't be a lot of friction to it. Yes, you'll still have to put time into it, and you'll have to put energy into it, and you'll have to put effort into it, but it won't be like you're fighting against something, right? So in other words, it'll be easy. Lucrative, is it worth it economically, right? And everybody has their version of lucrative, so that's not about throwing numbers around here, but is it going to be economically worth your while? Third one, which to me is the most important one, is it going to be fun? Am I going to enjoy doing it? Because if you don't enjoy doing it, then why do it, right? Case in point. So one of my clients came to me not too long ago and says, hey, I'm going to be putting he's got a really pretty large RIA, and hey, I want to put my guys together, my men and women, and I want to do this one-day thing, and I want you to come up and I want you to lead it. And tell me what that's going to run me, right? And I really, really thought about it. And I could have put a number out there, and he would have definitely compensated me the number. Would it have been easy? No, because I'd have to go on 2 different airplanes. It'll take me a day to get to where I need to get to do the one-day thing that I need to do, and take another day to get back. So that is not easy, okay? Next, is it lucrative? Well, if I look at it economically from a one-day perspective, yes. But I got to travel there for a day. I got to do the thing. I got to come back. And I got to sleep there. So it's not as lucrative. Would I enjoy it? I would enjoy the middle day a lot. I'd hate the day getting there, and I hate the day coming back from there. So ultimately, when everything's all said and done, I said, I appreciate the offer. It's just not something I want to do right now. Now, the old Joe would have been like, hell yeah, man. Where do I got to be? And I'll probably give you a deal on my rate just because I want to go do the deal. Why is this important? We all get invited to things, right? We all have demands of our time, our energy, our focus. Is this going to be relatively easy to accomplish? Is it economically feasible? Or are you going to enjoy the process? Now, inside of Network, again, many of you are members, many of you are not. One of our core tenets inside of Network is we never retire. We find ways to play the game until we decide we're done playing. And whether that's at 60 or 70 or 80 or 90, even 100, we're going to play. So let's just say, and again, we have people as part of our tribe who are in their 70s and in their 20s. So I have a very diverse universe here. But I will tell you this, that no matter where you fall in that timeline spectrum, always make this year your best year. Like, you've got to enjoy this year. Not, well, once I get to this early place, then I'll enjoy it. No. And I don't care even startup. Like, oh man, I'm like 1 year in the business, and man, I'm trying to figure out how not to eat ramen noodles at night, right? Enjoy and embrace the struggle. Enjoy it. Because, quite frankly, part of me wants to say, well, it's a rite of passage. Now, the struggle is part of that journey, so you appreciate the next level oh so much more. Conversely, if you've been at this for a long time, don't take it for granted. Your situation can change on a dime. And unfortunately, I've seen that. So you make sure you're enjoying each and every game, each and every day in the game. Bottom line, my big takeaway was we must be enjoying the process. We must be enjoying the process. So ask yourself, why am I pushing so hard? And if you don't have a good answer, and maybe for some of you there is a good answer. Hey, I need to grow my business. I need to take care of my family. There might be, and that's fine. I'm not saying do not abandon that. That's important. So then ask the follow-up question. How do I find a way to enjoy the process even more? How do you have fun creating opportunities, creating your own personal wealth in the service of others? Like, how do you enjoy it more? Is it more downtime? Is it leaving the office a little bit earlier to be with the family? Like, what is it for you? And I will tell you this, and then we're going to get you out of here for this week. There's an old saying, and you all know this, but I'm going to say it here because it resonates. On all of our deathbeds, we're never going to look back at our lives and say, man, we should spend more time in the office. We should spend more time at work. The thing that will give you the most joy in life, and I've experienced it myself, and many of my clients have, is creating that bucket list for yourself and your family, your loved ones. Whatever experiences, whatever destinations, whatever journeys you want to go on, and make them a part of your game and seek those out. None of us have yet. I said I'm going to coach to 100 and live to 125. I know for some of you that sounds crazy, but I truly believe that. Do I have a guarantee? Hell no. By the time you watch this or listen to this, I could be dead. Kind of weird when I say it that way, but there's no guarantee. Make sure you enjoy each and every day. And if you're not, find a way to. And if you don't know how, come see us inside the Magellan Network. Okay? So that's my story for this week, and I'm sticking to it. Welcome to the start of Q2. Let's make sure Q1's in the books. Good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. Done. It's only one of the next 40 over the next decade. Put it in the box. Let's move on. Let's be excellent today and moving forward. Thank you for watching and listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game, both personally and professionally.